Mercedes have dominated Formula 1 for the last 5 seasons, clinching both drivers and constructors championships throughout. During this dominant period, they've etched their name into the record books, whilst also creating a lasting legacy in a sport that requires hard work and commitment from every member of the team. But could the 2018 titles be the sweetest of them all? The Silver Arrows once again had to see off a title charge from the sport's most successful constructor, Ferrari. And fought over the course of 11 months and 21 races, it was a season that ebbed and flowed and provided entertainment throughout. But just how did Mercedes overturn what had seemed like an initially resurgent enemy? Firstly, we have to rewind to the start of the season and appreciate that the W09 was not the world beater it actually turned out to be, as it clearly carried more than a hint of its predecessor's DNA, and perhaps even some of the diva qualities. This made life a little easier for Ferrari, even though their SF71H appeared to be much kinder on its tyres and much easier to set up at a given track than the W09. Mercedes didn't give up though, digging deep, thoroughly analysing their strengths and weaknesses and slowly but surely unlocking the potential of their dormant beast. Stellar performances from both Lewis Hamilton and Valtteri Bottas on and off the track surely proved pivotal factors too, but make no mistake about this, it was a team effort, as they drew on the talent of various departments at both the chassis and power unit factories, trackside personnel and pit crews, even management, as they looked to scrape together every molecule of performance. The Spanish Grand Prix is normally considered a development waypoint for every team, and a place where we've seen Mercedes accelerate away from the competition in the past. As the return leg to Europe and an extremely well-known quantity considering the amount of time spent there testing, it also provides a safe haven for the teams to start introducing development parts that set the tone for the rest of their season. But large-scale development parts remained elusive for Mercedes, as the team opted for a run-what-you-brung mentality whilst work continued apace back at the factory. It became clear at this point that Mercedes were working on something pretty big, something that was taking far more time than they'd like, but knew that when it arrived it had to deliver. Having already taken what James Allison described as an awful lot of work to make the car's side pods really slender for 2018, they were making an even bigger push to improve the aerodynamic output in that region, having earmarked it as a potential flaw in the car's performance window in the opening races. This came as part of a two-pronged attack, with an interim design race at Monaco that saw the team mount vortex generators atop the side pod surface as they attempted to widen the aerodynamic operating window for this particular low-speed circuit. It wasn't until the Austrian Grand Prix that we saw the team fulfil their desires though, when they introduced all new bodywork that reimagined how the side pod's bodywork interacted with the deflectors alongside. In turn, the side pod's inlet and upper shoulder were reprofiled, changing both the cooling and aerodynamic characteristics of the W09 going forward. This actually came off the back of a scheduled power unit upgrade introduced a race earlier at the French Grand Prix, which itself had been delayed by one race as the team tried to make all of the jigsaw pieces fall into place at the same time. This is the kind of holistic thinking that's only really possible when the chassis and power unit departments can work in close proximity, a unity that's only really shared by their closest adversary, Ferrari, and the other full works entity, Renault. The team seemed to grow in confidence in the following few races as they capitalised on not only their own performance but also mistakes made by Ferrari. Following the summer break, the teams returned to action at the magnificent Spa-Francorchamps, a circuit that requires your car to work well in the medium speed corners and be slippy for the long straights. Ferrari saw the momentum momentarily swing their way as they too had been hard at work developing the SF71H. This was to be another of those pivotal development races, as Mercedes had introduced not only a minor update to their front wing, but also a trick new rear wheel design that aimed to improve tyre life and performance. This development would become the focus of Ferrari's attention as the pair battled for supremacy in the closing stages of the season. The pair then locked horns with the FIA to dispute the design's legality. Mercedes won this war, with the solution being declared on several occasions, but it came with several mini-battles as the teams chose not to run the solution at a handful of the last few races, in fear that the Scuderia would protest it. The absolute standout moment for me came at a point in the season where the titles could have swung in either direction, and it came at a track that for one reason or another had been the Achilles heel of Mercedes throughout the hybrid era, the Singapore Street Circuit. But they put all that to one side and delivered a monstrous performance. None more so than Lewis Hamilton, who delivered a qualifying lap to rival the mythical Ayrton Senna lap at Monaco. Armed with a selection of new parts, including a new rear wing, he completed perhaps one of the slowest outlaps I have ever witnessed, keeping his hypersoft tyres at their absolute best for the pole lap, and then going on to deliver an inch-perfect performance. The team's final development run-in, wheel rim controversy aside, was a little more mooted as the W09's development waned. But with good reason, as whilst it's always important to carry on the momentum of a successful campaign, you also have to look at the future. And with another regulatory upheaval due in 2019, the team had their hands full. To characterise the W09 and team's performance in 2018, you'd have to suggest that they started out slowly, methodical with their approach, hit it hard when it mattered, and finally had what was needed to grind out yet another championship year for the Silver Arrows and Lewis Hamilton. If you did enjoy this video, don't forget to slap a like on it and also hit the subscribe button. It's that big red button just below the video.